Hey, Forrest here. Nothing like getting paid. And with ICCU's mobile app, I can deposit checks or accept Zelle payments so the money hits my account fast. I just wish there was an app for mowing the rest of these lawns.
It's the fall kickoff sale at Lithia Ford of Boise. It's the best time to trade in and trade up to a new Ford truck or SUV with the room to haul your payload or playload. Visit Lithia Ford of Boise, where Ford begins in Idaho.
This is Bronco Nation News Live. The best interviews, the most informed opinions, the latest breaking news, all from the top Boise State insiders. Bronco Nation News Live from BroncoNationNews.com is presented by RowPaint.com, the official paint and coatings company of Boise State Athletics. All Bronco Nation news broadcasts come from the Western Collective Studios. Head down to Western Collective's locations in Garden City or downtown Boise to try some of their delicious beers, including the Horseshoe Golden Ale, the first beer to support an NIL collective. Now, here's four-time NSMA Idaho Sports Writer of the Year, B.J. Rains, with another edition of Bronco Nation News Live.
Yes, we are one day closer to Boise State football, and we are excited here on a Wednesday morning to be live at Lithia Ford. Our man Jim Sturk, Jamie Drake, the whole crew setting us up here. We're excited to be here today and tell you all about Lithia Ford, the great deals they have, and I think we found a vehicle for Johnny Ball game here. Maybe Johnny, what do you think? The Bronco truck right here.
There's a couple others that I would probably pick before that one, but
Brad,
yeah, there's several. Coach Bedell, that's probably his rig.
I'll pass.
You're looking at some of the Ford Broncos, though. They have a nice line of Ford Broncos here, the 2024 versions. They got all kinds of vehicles. Lithia Ford of Boise. Make sure you come check them out here on Fairview. And man, we're excited to be here today. They got the Mustangs. Not only do they have the traditional Mustangs Johnny Ball game, but as you're about to see right here, they have the Mustang Mach-E, the electric Mustang. That's a pretty nice set of vehicles.
Yeah,
right
one of the all-time classic cars in this country or any country is a Ford Mustang, no question. They just get cooler and cooler. I don't know how Jim does it, BJ. I really don't.
Well, the NIL game is something he does very well. We're going to be telling you about that as well. 6 student athletes at Boise State driving vehicles from Lithia Ford to Boise. You see 4 football players as well. They're showing the signage there, and man, just always love coming over to Lithia Ford to Boise. The Rains family has purchased our vehicle from Lithia Ford of Boise, and anytime you come here, it's always a fun time to talk sports with Jim, and we're talking sports right now. We bring you in live. We got our man Brad Bedell, we got Johnny Ball game, and getting you set on a Wednesday morning for Boise State football. Coming up in just a couple of days, the team will leave tomorrow. It's getting closer, guys. Going to be a fun, maybe a long, slow, fast. What do you think? Couple days here to get to kick off on Saturday.
Well, it's like Christmas. It seems like it takes forever to get there, and all of a sudden you hit game day, you blink, and it's over, and you got a win or a loss, and you got to go home and go to the next. But it's a long off season, and kids worked hard, and they deserve to, as they say, they head out to tomorrow, and it's time to go. I mean, you got a prep day, and you're going to travel. They'll have that walkthrough or something on Friday at the local high school in Savannah, Georgia, and get on the bus and don't second guess yourself now. You got to roll.
You recouped and rested from Vegas, Brad?
Barely, yeah. Yeah. I didn't think, it's like Vegas. It's one of those things. When you're there, you're rolling. Everything's great. And all of a sudden, you land, you wake up the next day, and you got hit by the 2x4.
Yeah. It doesn't matter if it's one day or 4 days. when you get back, you kind of have that same post Vegas feeling.
Agreed. Now, the one thing I have learned at my age, 4 days, you're just starting to just take the shovel and start putting in the dirt in front of my gravestone.
You can't do that anymore. 4
Oh,
days in Vegas. My brother's actually in Vegas today, just landed. So good time of year to be down there. Obviously, you guys were there with Circa.
Yeah, it was a great time.
Set for the year.
Yeah, 4 days is qualified as a bender.
Yeah. They're
I mean, it is. I mean, it's like whoever flew. I saw on Twitter, I forgot who, some Boise State fans flew to Georgia yesterday.
Yeah.
Right. So that's Tuesday. They're qualified. Now, if they're doing it and you get in Georgia and Savannah, you can get there's some nice bars. It's a fun little town.
Okay.
That's going to qualify as a bender. So good luck to them and just make it to the game. That's all we ask.
Maybe they're watching right now, getting ready.
Brad Todd says 3 days max, Vegas.
I completely agree.
I
completely agree.
I agree.
And the other thing is, BJ, let's talk about this. Hitting or doubling or splitting face cards really took off on some people.
It did.
I was stupid. I don't understand.
It's disrespectful to the other people.
I asked for permission so they could
guy at third base grilling. I don't think anybody grilled Bedell though. It's one of those things.
Guy got mad.
Really?
Oh, mad.
Yeah, he did. Huh?
Brad just stood up and the guy got quiet pretty quick though.
Mm-hmm.
But no, we are to get your questions in, get your comments. If you got a question for Brad or Johnny, no show tomorrow morning since I'll be flying over to we get the nice 2 layover stop, a nice direct to Denver, layover to Nashville, Denver layover, and then Savannah. So we'll get there at some point tomorrow, but no show tomorrow. So we got Johnny in here on a Wednesday as well. And they were giving you a little crap about that last night on the Riley and Ridge show that with Garrett Collingham and Quinn Skillen. If you haven't watched that show, go back and watch it. They had some phenomenal stories. 1 or 2 I may need to ask confirmation from Brad Bedell about, but go watch Riley and Rid, man, phenomenal. But yeah, they may or may not have brought up the splitting face cards last night on the show.
But I guarantee Collingham didn't witness at John Molshan's wedding. Me and Garrett Larson were splitting face cards together, and we both won exactly 1,800 apiece.
Wow.
So he didn't want to bring in that. He just wanted to call me a dumbass. That's fine.
It's a big risk, but man, it can pay off. Absolutely.
What happens if you get another one?
Yeah, I've never even thought of that. I'm going to split face cards though at some time in my life, Coach. I'm going to
just try it
just to see if it works. And it kind of pisses people off, and it's a good. It's just nice.
It's exciting. It's exciting atmosphere.
Now, before we get into the talking about this game, I do want to bring up one story that they brought up on the show last night, Brad. 2019 Florida State game. John Mallory. I don't know if you saw this clip yet.
I did.
There was an issue with the plane because you guys were supposed to fly into Jacksonville. You did. Then you drive over to Tallahassee. The charter plane wasn't going to be available for 6 hours. So the game ends. Remember, it was the 12 o'clock game. You're done about 3 o'clock, and you guys got about 6 hours to kill. Which, by the way, if you'd have lost that game, that would have been a horrible 6 hours sitting around the lobby, probably waiting to fly back to Boise. But you win the game, and apparently there's just kind of players can go for a walk, kind of stay around the hotel. And apparently Garrett Collingham and Matt Pistone asked Kent Riddle if they could go to a nearby local establishment. And I guess Ridd was in such a good mood. He's like, just be back before the bus leaves. Let them go. Next thing you know, apparently there's drinks flowing, there's shots flowing, and both those guys got a little bit inebriated, I guess you could say, for the flight back to Boise. And apparently they were told to sit in the last row and be quiet, and they sat in row 3 and kind of had the whole bus and the whole crew going. And apparently Harsh was laughing and enjoying it, and good stories ensued about a rare time at Florida State. You beat Florida. I think you said you got a dub, you got a buzz, and then you flew back and slept the whole way, was what Garrett Collingham's wording was. But that was a fun game, and then afterwards, I guess, fun for at least some of the guys as well.
Yeah, it looks like it. And that's that's actually very poetic. Get in, get a dub, get a buzz, and go to sleep.
Yeah.
I mean that's, if Shakespeare was around, he'd love that one. I mean, I'm assuming they said they were gonna get something to eat, but I don't know. It was a lively atmosphere on the bus home, on the plane home, and the players. Listen, it's hard to tell a young man, hey, I want you to sit in that seat for 6 hours. No, let him go a little bit.
Senior that just had maybe one of the biggest moments of his career. I think Garrett Collingham had a key fumble recovery in that game too.
Yeah, because the defensive tackle on the 3 tried to scoop and score instead of just getting on the ball.
Yep, I remember that play.
And he recovers, we score, we win the game.
Yep.
And then all of a sudden, he's taking fireball down the gullet 4 hours later. Good for him.
What's cool about that is, gosh, a coach the mood after a big win like that. I went in broadcasting earlier on. We had a win at Fresno. This is when I was with Idaho, and Fresno was the top
This was
team
the
in
women's
league.
basketball voice of the Idaho Vandals back.
Yeah,
in the
but I
day.
mean, it's all relative. Coach can relate. I
Sure.
mean, those coaches get just as
Any
excited.
sport, yeah, it doesn't matter.
And I'll tell you, BJ, we went down there in the Save Mart Center and probably in front of about 700 people, but we beat the best team in the league. We never had a better dinner.
Sure.
We could order anything on the menu.
Absolutely.
I mean, I could imagine though Coach Riddle after that Florida State game. Yeah, just be back by the plane. I don't give a rip. Everybody's so happy. Like, and then it's the opposite after a tough loss. But coaches after wins, I've seen it. Like, oh man, they're so fun to be around sometimes.
I mean, it's like the amount of stress getting into that game, especially that game, and then all of a sudden you win, and it's like just you got 24 hours. It's like everything's out, and then 24 hours are rolling, and then it all comes back on that next Monday.
Yeah,
or it starts building all Sunday. You put that game to bed, all of a sudden you start watching them, and then you put on the tape, and oh my God, this is the best team we ever played. And then as you watch them, it's okay. We're going to attack them this way. We got them here. This is here, and you feel better. But yeah, there's a couple of cold ones we're drinking.
Probably not just by the players. Yeah.
I plead the fifth.
We are here at Lithia Ford again. They got some great deals going on. The Ford Broncos, all the different great vehicles, the F-150s. That's what the Raines family purchased, and we're loving our F-150 here. So we're going to talk to Jim Sturk a little later in the show about what they got going on. They got a cool fundraiser that they have for coming up for a local high school a little bit later. We'll talk about that as well. But again, you started it off the top, Brad. Last full day in Boise today. They're heading down. This is kind of a tradition for Boise State, going down on a Thursday when they've got the long trip. And so I guess just what is the final practice today? I believe in Shells. They'll have their normal Thursday practice tomorrow before they get on the flight. And I was reminded, or I guess told that I didn't know this yesterday, about the same time that my plane will be landing in Savannah, about the same time Boise State's plane will be landing in Savannah. There'll be a rally with Kamala Harris going on in Savannah as well, and the Veep. So there's going to be all kinds of traffic and issues, and we'll deal with that, I guess, when we get down there tomorrow night. But what's the schedule like, and how different is going down on a Thursday for the coaches and the prep and the players?
Thursday, you've had a couple of weeks getting ready for this game, so this is kind of a separate deal. It's like can't qualify as a short week leaving because they've had all summer. But yeah, you get one more at home, you get a good one, and then it's it's nice what they're doing. Okay, it's very smart what they're doing is practicing tomorrow before they leave. You want to do that because you don't want to get the kids up early, right? You're gonna have to get them up somewhat earlier to practice tomorrow. You fly out. Now you don't have to worry about going to a high school in Savannah that's close to the team you're playing. You never know who's around. And that's people say, oh, big deal. No, you'll be shocked at how many people will sit there and just try to watch you. And tomorrow's a big one. It's not like, hey, we're going to get in a couple formations and do special team call outs. It's a dry run. You're running 90% of your plays, and then you got to drive, which you're going open or backed up to open field to the shot area, which is within the logos, to low red to goal line. I mean, it's a lot. It's
kind of the final dress rehearsal on a Thursday?
Yep. It's your entire game plan. And then now you can go, and they have the walkthrough on Friday. You can go into a gym. You don't want to wear them out, right? So you do some things that, hey, here's some reminders on this. This is what we're expecting here. And you don't have to. You could be a little bit more, put 14 guys on the field, so they don't know what's going on if you got even remotely somebody watching. But I remember there'll be people at all exits. No, don't put your phone away. Things like that, because Boise's a national brand. This is a big game for Georgia Southern to have Boise State come in there. And trust me, there's people watching. And we've always been petrified as coaches about that. Horst was real petrified. Pete was petrified. It's just the way it is. Just like, wouldn't be bad if somebody comes in on a Thursday and all of a sudden they're practicing at Timberline High School. You never know who's going to walk up in there.
Oh, yeah. I remember when I was at Kansas, when Mark Mangino was there, when I was a student, they had the way the practice fields were set up. They built these brand new 2 really nice, beautiful practice fields, but they didn't either talk to the coaching staff or didn't put 2 and 2 together that the parking garage for the student union overlooked the overlooked the two practice fields, and they had guys like in the press box of the football stadium with binoculars and somebody with a radio saying floor 3. There's a even students getting out of their car, they'd be like having to tell them. So finally, Mark Mangino said, I ain't practicing here. They had to, it was like a kind of a standoff. They have these brand new $100,000 practice fields and they weren't being used. Yeah. So they planted trees along the line to try to block it, but it was going to take several years. The first year they didn't even use it because they were too nervous about people looking in from the student union right into the practice field.
Yeah. Coaches are very petrified about that stuff.
What do you think about the communication? I mean, obviously being in the NFL, you saw the coach calm in the helmet work and just probably seamless. Now that it's in college, now that it's game 1, you don't get a preseason game to work out anything. Is that going to be any challenge?
No, you don't, because they've been working on it at practice.
Yeah.
Right. So that starts immediately. Like in the NFL, the rookie started immediately because now you've got the whole thing in your ear. And those NFLs would be like trips right, 2 jet, all go special, kill to 24 zone, alert, 300 jet, Y in. So all of a sudden, it's like quarterback.
Which means what?
Step in there. Okay, the 2 jet
in route for the Y.
Yeah, 2 jet all go specials for cover 2, cover 4, true zone. Okay, you get that, you got the shot. You hit the bender down the seam, it's a touchdown. Okay, if they play any cover 1, backside or strength of the field, you want to kill that to the backside zone because you got some backside pressure coming from the field. You always want to run inside zone away from pressure so you can cut back and split the defense in the backside. If they got true man, alert, 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 let's get out of it. 3-step, let's get the ball out. We get 3, you get 3. Okay, that's the way it is. So it's a 3-play deal, and it's only versus certain looks. As a quarterback, you step in, and you got, shit. Hey, can you give me that again? And all of a sudden, the OC's screaming at you. We only got it. Delay a game. And so you got to train those young men early. Here, the plays aren't as long, and you practice it. Now, they didn't do it in spring, but you got to do it in fall camp.
Is it 15 seconds left on the play clock when it gets killed, I believe?
I believe, yeah.
Well, couldn't it be some type of numerical or coding system too? And then you go to the wristband and translate it if that's the case? I mean, you don't have to spit the whole thing out?
Yeah, there was a game I was watching. I forgot which game, but they did that. They did wristbands. So they probably did card call 12. And he's reading it, and when it's done, they break it. Now you have some time. Remember, if they get set fast enough, he can click, hey, it's cover 2, or watch the boundary safety, or hey, there's pressure coming. Watch.
Wow.
I've heard that. It cuts off at 15 seconds, right, Coach?
You can talk as much as you want. Once it's 15 seconds, it's automatic shut off. And so that's some benefits if you can get out of the huddle fast enough. Definitely. If you don't get out of the huddle fast enough, then you're sitting there and you're on your own.
Somebody's asking when the depth chart will be out. Maybe today, maybe tomorrow. A little gamesmanship going on. I kind of like it. First week of the season, Johnny. They don't want to, Georgia Southern didn't release their depth chart. So Boise State said, well, then we're not releasing ours. So no depth charts yet.
I've never been a depth chart geek. I mean, I'm going to watch the game on Saturday. Oh, okay, he's in now. Well, he's not on the depth chart. What was it? The moving and the shaking and the personnel. The depth charts never really meant much.
What about for a coach?
Oh, I want that thing as fast and humanly as possible. They don't give you a depth chart. You go to the field, and all of a sudden you face a defensive end that transferred there from Alabama. And you're like, who is that guy? I don't know. He went on the depth chart. Mm-hmm. Well, why is he here now? Oh, I don't know. And all of a sudden he comes out, and he's some freak show you didn't know about. So you couldn't go back and study him in Alabama. You couldn't study pass rush moves. You couldn't study stance. You couldn't study anything.
So you'll just take the depth chart, and that's kind of, hey, these are the guys that we need to, as coaches, study more so than just a whole roster and a cast of thousands.
And especially with the portal these days, I think you're going to see this more as delay the depth chart. They had a quarterback battle. They haven't named a starter, right? And
they just did, right? JC French.
Yeah, they just did for.
Oh, did they?
Yeah, they named a guy.
Okay, come back. Okay, so then they've got a wide receiver that they transferred in, who's at ASU in Oklahoma. They kind of revamped their offensive line through the portal with some kids. You just don't know. Now that NIL and the portal recruiting is so big, they're ranking the portal class. This is stupid. I don't know what we're doing, but they're ranking the portal class. So you have an idea who's there, but it's like Texas just picked up a running back, 2 weeks ago. They went to the freezer because they got banged up so bad.
Crazy, yeah.
At running back during camp. They signed a kid 3 weeks ago or 2 weeks ago that they can get in school that was still sitting in the portal. So now we have a free agent market and a waiver wire. So it's pretty cool.
Dude's kid's on his couch,
rock and roll,
working out.
Hey,
Now he's
hey.
enrolled in Texas.
Give him a Ford.
You know, that's crazy. Yeah, we have a waiver wire. Yeah,
It is
But
great. Yeah.
I think you want a depth chart just because you want it makes you feel better, and it confirms people on the roster because once that depth chart's set in pregame, you got guys on your staff. You'll watch them warm up and go, okay, he's here, he's here, he's here, he's here, he's here. He's not. Where is he? Okay, and all of a sudden you look around and he could be on crutches. And they didn't disclose. You don't disclose your injuries in college football. And
Which
so
they
he's
might
like,
be switching that way in terms of the pregame injury report.
won't be this year though.
Won't be this year.
Texas Tech did it. I saw already.
Yeah, won't be this year. But if you're done for the year and they know you're done for the year, they'll announce it. Right? Everybody's done that. Coach Carson did that. Everybody does that.
Mm-hmm.
If they're done for the year.
Yeah.
If you're done for a week or two,
Why say something?
don't say anything because he still is on film. Now, it's amazing the fact that I'd always track a defensive tackle got hurt in the third. Okay. Where is he in the rest of the third? Not there. Is he here in the fourth quarter? He's not there. Okay. He's a question mark. Okay. He didn't return, didn't come back to the game. So now is he going to be there? So I'd circle and go, I need to know if he's here, especially if he's really good.
So in warm-ups, you were guys on
GAs,
staff are out there saying he's out there.
QCs now. Yeah, they're qualified. He's there. He's there. He's there. He's there. He's there.
So
He's
coaches really rely on the depth chart.
You
Wow.
have to.
Wow.
Especially early in the season.
I know.
Probably as well.
Absolutely.
Somebody is asking about the portal. They're talking about going down to one portal window.
I saw that they're going to
What do you-
cancel the spring portal.
What do you make of that?
I think it's interesting. I think it helps because you have to solidify your rosters earlier than what we're doing, right? Now, drawback. Okay, and I always play both sides, right? Drawback is you're going to have mass exodus in the first. So now, my concern with that is you're going to lose. If you lost 20, you may lose 30, especially for the teams that bring kids back that want to come back. Some coaches don't. If you get in the portal, you're gone. Don't come back to me.
Yeah.
Right. So I think you're going to have more because that's
Kids aren't ready to decide, and they just decide to go.
and
for
it's
it.
their only opportunity. And so, but you're going to solidify your roster earlier. And the other thing is, which I like, is they should just, if they keep the spring, have the SEC rule in effect. The SEC rule is if you get out after the season, you can go to an SEC school. If you get out in spring, you can't go to an SEC school. So that's why those SEC kids that leave in the spring go to the ACC, the Big 12, the Big 10, things like that. You can't go interconference in spring because there's some SEC teams, and I will not mention them. They'll sign a kid just to what you
Get
do
the
in
intel.
spring ball. Absolutely.
What's this mean? What's that mean?
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Bring your playbook.
Yeah.
Oh,
And they'll give it a little Scully a kid
sure.
for his intel.
Yeah.
Damn, man.
Wow.
If you got, especially going to 105. We're going to 105.
Yeah, okay. Yeah, we'll pay for him. It doesn't matter anymore.
And no
it's
walk-ons
taken
now, right?
care of.
Everyone's gonna have to be on
walk-ons,
scholarship.
So
Travesty of college football is what we're witnessing. Walk-ons. Ask Leighton Van Resch.
I was going to say a school like Boise State has made some.
Ask Matt Paradis.
Brock
Ask
Dorsey.
Jake Stetz, who was an all-conference player here.
Yeah,
for
it
a while.
was. Yeah,
Jake Stetz was just a regular student at Boise State, right?
Stetz was playing professionally up until last
He
year.
stayed at my house. We went to the pool the other weekend. Drank beers at the pool. He was at the UFL and all that, and now he's weightlifting in Dallas.
But he didn't even come here expecting to play, right? He just came, or maybe at
Great
some point he
story.
did, but he just came as a student.
It was a little bit like we like to claim that Van Der Esch walks in out of the blue and all that. We knew who he was. Okay, he got invited to camp.
Yeah.
Then he walked in and says, I want to play, and all of a sudden he just becomes a first-round pick. Jake Stetz came to school here. They called, believe it was Nate Potter, called the coach and said, there's a kid. He's like, take him. He's a great program kid. Walks in, starts in spring when I got here in 17. And all of a sudden, didn't play much that year, enrolled, became all conference. So, so now you used to have these teams.
That's done.
There's 125 kids, 130 kids in a roster, and like SEC, Nebraska's known for it. They had 2 locker rooms. They had a walk-on locker room and a scholarship locker room. They could have run 4. Your offense, your first team offense has a scout team. Your second team offense has a scout team. They had that many walk-ons playing in Nebraska.
Wow.
Now, it
Wow.
comes down to money.
Mhm.
You got to eat them. You got to feed them. But other than that, you get to play college football, and it's really not on your dime. Why get rid of walk-ons that are just helping? They're helping the program win. Now, if you got good grades, it really helps your team GPA, right? And things like that. So no, we're just going to go to 105 scholarships. Now all of a sudden you have NIL, and now all this your school's got to raise more money in a scholarship fund.
Well, yeah, that's what I was talking like the softball coach, Justin Schultz. They get like 12 scholarships or whatever to divvy up amongst the players. They're going to have to go to 25 or whatever and then no walk-ons. But if they can't afford 25, they can only have 17. They can only have 17 players on the team and because they can't have walk-ons.
Yeah, so you have to raise money within your scholarship fund. And that's just another addition of fundraising.
Let's get into the game. I want to thank a couple of our sponsors first, and I want to get Brad your thoughts on this actual matchup on Saturday. I know you've been watching some tape, studying Georgia Southern. If you're looking for a place to come watch the game, by the way, on Saturday, Western Collective, downtown, Bar National, right when you walk in the Western Proper group, they got the 3 restaurants in there on Idaho Street downtown. Walk in, Western Proper, turn to the right, National Bar. You're gonna have Kekala Kaniho as the game captain there. $3 horseshoe, gold nails, a lot of other great specials, and they're giving away a $50 gift card to Western Collective if you come in there and show that you're a YouTube subscriber to Bronco Nation News. So we'll see you Saturday at 2 o'clock for the game there at Bar National inside Western Collective. RoePaint.com is our title sponsor. ROEPaint.com, Andy Rowe and Company. Check them out. All your painting needs, whether it's the concrete coatings, the interior, exterior, residential painting, commercial, industrial, all those great things. Check them out at RoePaint.com. Idaho Central Credit Union as well. We had the Tyson Degenhart show last night. Great stuff, getting to know some of the new freshmen on the team. So go back on the BNN YouTube channel and watch that. Idaho Central Credit Union, ICCU.com. All your banking needs. Make sure you check out Idaho Central Credit Union. Matt Bauscher and Bauscher Real Estate, #1 ranked realtor in the Treasure Valley. And Rain's family found out firsthand. We purchased our home, sold our home through Matt and his team, and it was tremendous customer service. I'm very appreciative of that. So check them out online at BauscherRealEstate.com and Ridley's Family Markets as well. ShopRidleys.com. You can find a location near you. 13 across the state of Idaho, other surrounding states as well. I know Mark Ridley and company will be flying down for the game on Saturday. Pumped for that. But again, Treasure Valley, Magic Valley, check them out. Download that skip bag. Get savings up to 40% off at the checkout line at shopridleys.com. And as we've been saying, we are here at Lithia Ford of Boise. The fall kickoff sale is underway. You see Jonah Dalmas there. They got 6 NIL deals with student athletes at Boise State, including 4 football players. So again, next time you're looking for that car or truck, think Lithia Ford. Return the favor. One of the biggest supporters, maybe the biggest supporter of Boise State athletics, and a huge supporter for us at Bronco Nation News as well. So Lithia Ford of Boise, and I know Brad, whether it be with the courtesy vehicles and all that, I know Lithia Ford and Jim Sturk took care of you and still do.
They do. It's once I got here, I got with Lithia and just first class. Everything's first class between trading the car and first class. You come in and get your box so welcoming in the service center. I mean, the people that surround everybody in Lithia Ford, it's a culture here, and we've always appreciated coming in here, and they've helped my family over the years. And I think it's a phenomenal place to do business and feel welcomed and buy a car.
Yeah, and there's some companies that, kind of just talk the talk, but they back it up with their not only their financial commitment to the school, but now the NIL game. And they got, started with Riley Smith doing some commercials for them. And now they've got, as I said, they've expanded with Ahmed Hassanin, Andrew Simpson, Jonah Dalmas, and Matt Lauder from the football team. They have Paige Barsh from the volleyball team, Brooke Patterson on the women's golf team as well. So it's pretty cool with the way the NIL game has allowed them to do that. But also now that Jim Sturk and company are stepping up and making it happen.
In the balance, right? So they're supporting the athletic department, okay, and you're supporting the student athlete that's with the athletic department. So it's they have a great balance of supporting both and not going, oh, we're just going to support our athletic department, and the players are like, okay, what's going on? So there's a balance there. And Jim's going to come on later about high schools, and it's community. Lithia Ford's about the Boise community, and why don't you want to support somebody locally within that's going to support the community? I'm always appreciative of just companies that support the community, from the college to athletic to high schools and things like that. So it's not like, oh, you guys only deal with stuff that's going to make you money long run. I mean, no, you don't know that. I mean, you walk into Monday night or Friday night football. Okay. I've seen Lithia there. That's little kids. I mean, I think anytime you can support the entire community, as long as the college, athletics to youth, is a fantastic thing.
Well, we'll be, as you said, talking to Jim here shortly. We do have the 2024 Ford Bronco right behind us. We've done a lot of cool setups for shows, but it's not very often you get a brand new car right here in the showroom right behind us as we're broadcasting.
I like Ahmed Hassanin doing the Al Bundy poke high back there. See that? Look at that, man. Ready to fire it back, man. 4 touchdowns, 1 game. Good stuff. Man.
Oh, man. Well, we'll talk to Jim here in a couple minutes. But this game on Saturday, Brad, I know you've been looking at Georgia Southern, and I was reading my Phil Steele. I was doing my research on this matchup, and I mean, yeah, again, you try not to. I guess a coach always hypes up opponent as being the best opponent. That they're, the Lou Holtz, no matter what, they're going to be the best team you play. But I mean, this is when you factor in the humidity, the heat, the trip, and then looking at this team from with the improvements they think and are expecting to make from last year. They were 6-2, and then I think lost 5 straight to end the year. Yep. They've got I think their top 5 rushers back, 2 of their top 3 receivers back. You mentioned they've added some guys.
Yep.
I'm not trying to say they're going to go down there and lose. I know Mike Prater was seriously considered that potentially happening, but just in general, this might not be the 30-point blowout that some fans are expecting.
No, I think it's going to be a good football game. The other thing is the stadium's rowdy. I've played there. We took a Texas State team in there. They beat us bad. Now they were running that triple option crap.
Yep.
But it's a rowdy stadium. And in the bus ride in there, it's 2 lanes coming in and they're tailgating. It's a Southern atmosphere. So I mean, the stadium, do they have to go silent count? Probably early. Okay. And now there's some things about their offense. You want to think about it. They threw the ball 60% of the time last year, and they threw it all over the lot, and they were successful. I mean, the quarterback had good numbers. Problem is they had 31 turnovers. If they can continue the turnover, the game should win by 40. It's not even going to be close, right? But they got wide receivers. They got some skilled kids. They brought in a transfer. He's on his 3rd school. He's one of those guys. Arizona State, Oklahoma, big 6'4", 210-pound kid. And then they brought in a tight end. His name's Tyler Fromm. Played for me at Auburn. He is 6'4", 240, but he is fast. He's a legitimate vertical threat. He is Riley Smith. Okay, no offense, Riley, but he's a hair faster. Mm-hmm. Right? So if you remember that LSU night game we played at Auburn where Bo Nix scrambled and launched, that was Tyler Fromm. That came from the field, and he came all the way over and snatched that ball for a touchdown. So this kid he's good. He's physical to a point in the run game. But he's a threat in the passing game you got to worry about. Running backs, I mean, if you want to say that, they only rushed the ball for 886 yards, they averaged 5.8 yards a carry. So, I mean, the overall number is not great, but when you're only running the ball that many times a game, it's effective. So that's all you got to worry about. Defensively, in my opinion, they were not good. They weren't. That was their Achilles heel. I mean, they are averaging giving up over 30 points a game. Yeah. Especially in the last, losing streak.
They got their whole D line back. I think 2 first-team preseason all-conference D linemen, though, and a linebacker that had 120 tackles or something last year
13 tackles for loss.
Wow.
I mean, that guy's
that's Andrew Simpson numbers.
He's a player. He's a player. He's linebacker. He's long. He's not typical Sun Belt 5'10", things like that. The other thing is Sun Belt is a tough conference.
Agree.
I mean, a lot of people say, I don't know. But you're looking at people have actually said Texas State has a chance to go to the playoff. That's Sun Belt. That is a Sun Belt team. Sun Belt's a tough conference through and through. Isn't Liberty in the Sun Belt?
Oh, it's Conference USA.
Conference USA. So it's a tough conference, and defensively, like I said, they brought the safety in for Kennesaw, the DB coach. Okay, who knows? You got to make some changes in the offseason if your defense is that bad. They didn't make a defense coordinator change, but you got to make some adjustments. So now what are those adjustments going to be? Right? Don't give out the depth chart because we're going from a 4 down to a 3-4, or we're going from a 3-4 to a 4 down. If they love their defensive line, why are you going to put 3 of them on the field? You put 4 of them on the field, and then the other thing is maybe they've got somebody, or their corners are different, or they're going to go to a man, or they're going to do something like that. So you got to figure that out early. That's going to be important. Mm-hmm. And then you just got to handle the atmosphere early. And then one thing is they're not going to stop Genty. They were not very good pass or rush defense last year. And so that's the one thing that people don't know. And I bet you some of the kids in that Georgia Southern team didn't know Boise State played football. When you're in the South, they're like, who's Boise State?
You really think that's
What's
still going
Idaho?
on? Wow.
They There's some kids at Auburn that didn't know Boise State existed.
Wow.
And so, and I made sure, I was like, yeah, we existed, and we would beat the brakes off of you guys. So you're going to come in, you handle it early. And then if there's any adversity, you can't let the dominoes fall. He's got to regroup and go. Heat, they're prepared for it. I think if they can take care of business and all that, I can see Boise State winning by 21 late in the fourth.
Johnny, what's your thoughts on this matchup?
Well,
and as you said, Brad, I mean, this is probably one of the I don't know their recent history, but probably one of the bigger home games they've had. Getting a school like Boise State, at least in recent times, to come in there and play, and they're approaching a sellout. And just what's your take, John?
We had a guy who covers the team television local affiliate down there, and he was saying just that. It's a big deal for Georgia Southern football fans to get a team like Boise State and their brand recognition at Paulson Stadium. They're very proud of that place. They were 5-1 at home last year, and they were 1-5 on the road. That's how they got their 6-6.
They're 46 and 17 the last 11 years at home.
So they know how to win there. They're good there. It helps. It's in their head. They're confident there. But man, if 20-ish plus carries for Genty, 3 to 5-ish catches for Genty, get him in space. Man, that's going to be a tough order. I got Boise State. I think they win by 2 touchdowns, but it's not going to be easy. I just don't know how they stop Ashton Genty in this thing. I think if Ashton Genty and the game plan works there, I mean, the defense is going to have to surrender a lot of points, a lot of splash plays, and it's going to turn into some 37-34 shootout type of thing. And maybe that's in play, but I just look at Boise State and Genty from what I've seen, from what I've heard. Man, I think he's going to be too tough a task for Georgia Southern. We'll see, though, man. I can't wait. And I'm just so glad, guys, tomorrow with games starting, Coach, we don't really have to talk as much about portal nonsense and just
tomorrow night,
the utter nonsense. I bet Auburn
That's how
guys
Kansas is.
I bet Auburn guys didn't know Kansas existed either.
I did, because they beat him my senior year.
But just the fact that we can just get to games now.
Yeah.
That's the best part of this, man, that the season starts and we can just watch and talk and analyze what we're seeing and just have fun with it.
The other thing that Boise State's defense has to do is they can't afford explosive plays in the passing game. They've got to cut that. If you give up some explosive plays and they get the momentum early, it's okay, here we go. If you can get in there, cut explosive plays down on Boise State's defense, get a couple 3-and-outs, jump up on them, 14-0, 17-0, 17-3, you're in good shape. You rest easy. If they start hitting explosive plays on offense, you got to be. That's where I'm going to start going. Ooh.
And those did come down a little bit later in the season. Obviously, the UCLA game may be a little different story, but they, that was a huge problem early in the season. The pass defense got a little better as the season went on, but they still ranked outside the top 100 in pass defense. They go and get Jeremiah Irby, a corner, and then they have another corner, Devon Banks from Washington. Not sure how he's going to rotate in. Markel Reed is back from injury, and then what we saw from McCoy as well, coming in as a JUCO guy. But the safeties are all pretty much the same. You got Tubner back, you got Robinson, you got Oladipo, you got Zion Washington, who am I forgetting? I mean, the whole,
Benefield.
Ty Benefield's getting ready for the next step. And so, I mean, but not much different look in the secondary this year.
Agree, but I agree. The other thing is it's also the first game of the year.
New safeties coach too, by the way, Tyler Stockton coming in, co-defensive coordinator.
Yeah.
Was at Ball State.
He'll be all right. It's when you come down first game of the year. Okay, New Mexico jumped on Montana State. New Mexico went into Easy Street, and they came back and lost. Right,
21 points in the fourth quarter.
Look at Hawaii. I think Delaware State scored 17 straight. It's 14. You know what I mean? You're going to have some first game mistakes, right? Keep penalties to a minimum, especially pre-snap penalties with your false starts, your illegal formations, things like that. On special teams, have 11 on the field. Don't get caught with 12. Don't get caught with 10. Just have 11 guys on the field, and you're going to be fine. Defensively, if they're up tempo, you need to keep 11 on the field. Don't sub someone in late and get caught having 12 on the field. Those are things in the first game that really worried coaches, is the pre-snap penalties, because now you were 2nd and 10, false start. Okay, now you're at 15. Now it just completely changes everything. So you've got to keep holdings to a minimum. All those little first games are very stressful. It doesn't matter who you play. It's stressful. You don't know who's going to be there. you have an idea. Number two is we practice so much. Now they're so geeked up to play somebody else.
Mm-hmm.
It's like, okay, 8-1 personal fouls. Here we go.
Late hits, things like that.
Yeah, so you got to keep penalties to a minimum. That's just going to help you be efficient on offense. Okay, and don't give them a free first down, pass interference, things like that. Don't give them free stuff.
Final, Johnny's got to go soon. He's got an actual full-time job here with KTIK, the ticket. But Johnny, any bold predictions for the season, bold predictions for this game? Just, you mentioned football being back, the season being back. Just your final thoughts, man, on this game and this season.
Yeah, I think Bronco Nation should be really excited. Obviously they are, but I think they should be excited for a good product out there. I mean, I love what Spencer's doing. Generally speaking, I've talked to most of the players on the team. They're good kids. They're trying their tail off there, and they want to be good. They want these pictures of Sports Illustrated everywhere here at Lithia Ford. Like, I can sense it. Like, these kids, they want that. And I think the schedule, we'll see what happens, but no, I think they're in store for a really good season. No real bold predictions. I think they'll be significantly better than last year. BJ, I think they will be 1-0, and then we'll see what happens with 1-0, and then we'll talk about an even bigger game, right? And it's going to be a ride for Boise State fans this year. There's a lot to bite into on this bone, Coach.
You brought up a great point, and I appreciate you doing that. Is these kids, you do a lot of stuff about Boise State's is in the back rearview mirror, not the conference titles. I'm not talking about that. The Sports Illustrated. I think these kids, like the Genties, they talk about we want to make our own history at Boise State.
That's why Genty stayed.
They felt it. And so the other thing, I don't go back to this game one time, is you got a lot of hype behind this team.
Yeah.
So now what comes hype is every game's a huge game.
Yep.
You can go to Oregon. That's automatically a huge game. But the coach, I guarantee Coach Helton, okay, I've had the opportunity to meet him, things like that. He's talking about, if you guys want to know who Boise State is, they are going, according to a lot of people, they're going to the playoff. So they may not be ranked, but a lot of people are thinking they're going to the playoff. So now you got a team in here, may not be ranked, but you got a playoff contending team coming into our place, and we have to explosive plays, things like that. And if we can get on top, we're in good shape. You have to stop that and control the hype. The hype's over. It's done.
Yep. Time
Stop
to play.
Talking about it.
Yep.
Go 1-0.
Johnny, what do we got on Idaho Sports Talk
1-0 today? Wednesday edition. So going to
defensive
practice.
Players, some defensive coaches.
Ahmed Hassanin, he's speaking today. So talk with the captain there, and they leave tomorrow. And here we go, guys. In college football, all those games tomorrow night on Thursday. I know Coach is keeping an eye on that CU North Dakota State game. A lot of people will, and it's going to be fun. Thanks for letting me hang out with you guys here.
Yeah.
At Lithia Ford.
Get down to your
Jim does a heck of a job. Here you want to win a President's Award, right? That's their big thing. That's their NMSA 4-time in a row champion here. They've won 10 in a row. 10 in a row. So
wow,
they know what they're doing. So thanks for having me out.
Yeah, appreciate it, man. We'll get down to your meeting so you don't get in trouble here with.
I'm actually headed to practice.
Okay, good.
Yeah.
We were told 10 a.m. meeting. You had to be there, so I'm just trying to play by the rules here. We got to get you out of here, man. All right, appreciate it. There he is. Speaking of Ahmed Hassanin, we appreciate Ahmed Hassanin, Breezy Dubar. They got the deal with Jackson's. Don't forget, Jackson's has some NIL deals going on, and Ahmed Hassanin, again, you get a 91-cent soda or coffee if he gets a sack on Saturday. That'll be on Monday, and then Breezy Dubar, you get a touchdown. If he gets a touchdown, you get a hot dog and a soda for $1 at Jackson's. So make sure you check out Jackson's, all the local Jackson stores, over 100 that you can check out, and that's a great deal. Hey, Snake River Pool and Spa as well, thespateam.com. Check them out. Snake River Pool and Spa, Twin Falls, Boise, Meridian, Nampa. Been around since 1978, part of the Boise State home team. And again, Rain's family loving our spa from Snake River Pool and Spa. Not just spas, they got the game room. They got all kinds of pool tables and things. Make sure you check them out. Snake River Pool and Spa. Taco Bell, TacoBellWorks.com. We appreciate the Nicolason Family SON Management Group. Check them out as well. TacoBellWorks.com. Again, they're hiring. If you need a job, check them out. Great promotional opportunities. Half your wages the next day after your shift and free food while you work. So check them out, TacoBellWorks.com. And speaking of jobs, how about transportation compliance service? Want to get into the trucking industry? Maybe you haven't thought of that as an industry. You might as well. Transportation compliance service, TransComp Service. transcompservice.com. Check them out, transcompservice.com. And if you need that new gear for the game on Saturday, check out the Blue and Orange Store. Travis Hawks and Company, big supporter of BNN. We appreciate them. The blueandorangestore.com. Check them out. Jerseys, caps, bumper stickers, car flags, sweatshirts, you name it. They got it at the Blue and Orange Store. And again, online, you can get some deals at blueandorangestore.com, or you can just go into the Blue and Orange Store there at the second floor of the Boise Town Square Mall next to Pro Image. And if you're looking for some healthy eating, I highly recommend Lean Feast. They deliver anywhere in the Treasure Valley. So again, leanfeastmeridian.com. Check them out. Leanfeastmeridian.com. Healthy eating, 10,000 plus combinations. It's good in the microwave, in the fridge for up to 5 days, and you put it in the microwave for 2 minutes. And we're very thankful for Lean Feast as well. So I had our order come in the other day and enjoying that for lunch. So check them out, leanfeastmeridian.com. All right, we have swapped out John Mallory for Jim Sturk with Lithia. We're here in your location. We appreciate you for having us. Thanks for what you're doing with Bronco Nation News, and excited for you to sit down with us for a few minutes. How you doing?
I'm great.
Yeah, get a little closer to the mic here if you don't mind. There we go.
I'm great.
Thanks for Brad was giving some kind words for you, and you were sitting right over there listening. What do you got to say about Brad?
Well, got to provide Brad a courtesy vehicle years ago, and really enjoyed him being part of Lithia Ford and us being part of what we do at Boise State.
Which is a lot. And the NIL deals, I want to talk about that first, right behind us. You started out with Riley. It's expanded just with the rules changing, and you guys wanting to be one of the first involved. I mean, you were one of the first, like the first to do an actual commercial with a Boise State student athlete in their Boise State uniform at Boise State. A lot of these deals, they're wearing the polo shirt for the company, but can't mention Boise State or talk about it. And with your relationship with Boise State, you're able to mesh the two together with Riley and Mr. Patterson, I guess, and some of your commercials that you did there. And it's kind of grown now with what you've done with now up to 6 student athletes.
Yeah. Not something that we had planned on doing. Didn't know that we were going to get in the NIL space, just be part of the athletic department. And Riley Smith showed up at my door and convinced me we needed to do a deal, and didn't even really know a whole lot about him. And he did a really nice job for us for the years that we had him. And so then we decided to expand into, we got a female golfer, we got a volleyball player, and 4 football players right now.
And that's, Brad was talking about this, but the pot, there's only so much money in the pot for a company like your own, and the school's asking for their pot, and you're trying to help the NIL game as well. The coaches are coming to you and saying, can you help me out with some of these players? Like, that's got to be interesting times right now for a business owner.
It's difficult, but it's worth it. You get to know, first of all, we do courtesy cars for coaches. And so then you get to know them. And now we get to know the young people. And honestly, they're incredible young people that we bring to this school to compete at a Division I level. Unbelievable. Good kids.
What's your take on the season? I know you're big. We see in the box here at all the games. You're obviously a huge supporter. How are you feeling going into game 1 on Saturday?
Oh, pretty confident about that one, right? I have a question for Coach Bedell when you start a season off, you got Georgia Southern, and then you get an Oregon. How do you not look past?
I've always figured that if you don't win the first game of the year, it sets a tone in your locker room like, oh my God, what are we doing? Right. And then obviously everybody's going to talk about Oregon, but all the coaches, hey, we're playing Oregon. We get it. If I hear one thing from Oregon, I'm going to hurt you. Right. It's just, you just got to put a mindset, guys, Oregon doesn't mean anything if you don't go 1-0. If you're 0-1, that whole thing is done. So I think he's got to talk about how we're playing Georgia Southern, and Spencer will do a great job of that.
Yeah.
Horace did a great job of that. Pete did a great job of that. Hawk did a great job of that. Okay, here they lost the opener, or Hawk lost the opener at Montana State at home. That was his first game. Head coaching game in Colorado.
Wow.
So
that's right.
You just need to talk about the team you're playing currently, and also it's your team leadership. And I think this team's got good leadership, especially going to practice. They've got leadership. So now those leaders, they got to be a voice. Just like here, you're a team, right? If one of your dealers is doing something, oh, we don't do that here. You got to do this. So your leaders in the locker room, if you hear, God, I can't wait till we play Oregon, and shut up. We're playing Georgia Southern. And if you got a problem with that, get out.
You meant sorry,
or don't play.
yeah. You mentioned, Jim, some of the the different courtesy cars and things like that. You've obviously had relationships with a lot and still do of the coaches here. What's your take on Spencer and just him as a person and that being the right guy at the right time here for the job?
Well, Spencer kind of speaks for himself, right? One of the most dynamic people I've ever met or I've ever witnessed speak, and you just wonder, is it real? But then every time you see him or every time you talk to him,
You can't fake it.
You can't fake that.
I'm sure
right?
he walks through that door and starts going, Lithia Ford. Here we go.
It's what happened last year was something to see, and then the carryover, and you go to the practices, and it just never stops. He actually attended we had a Ford meeting that we hosted in the Sky Center, and he attended there, and nobody from Ford really knows who Boise State is, knows who Spencer Danielson is, and they're all fans.
Yeah.
They're paying attention. They want to see what he does, and because they just fell in love with the guy.
Bronco 130, by the way, says, purchased my F-150 from Lithia. So glad they support Boise State athletics. So there's one of many happy customers there. Thank you, Bronco 130. What about Jeremiah Dickey? And I know you obviously work very closely with him. We're hearing this North End Zone project coming along. A lot of the other improvements. Got the new sound system going in. The new scoreboard and the lights came in last year. Continuing to make improvements. And we're seeing success in a lot of the sports, not just, football and basketball. But what's your take on the direction of, Jeremiah Dickey and the leadership here under the athletic department?
Again, how lucky are we that we got JD to come here, right? Just got a little fearful here a couple months ago.
Yeah.
But so glad that they were able to come to an agreement and keep him here so he can stay on the track that he's on. We didn't need a disruption, so he's done so much, and choosing Spencer, gutsy call, right, on his part. And so
yeah, I haven't heard too many of the people when he was hired that were maybe not on board. That most of those people have been pretty quiet the last several months. In terms of winning an off season, again, now it's time to put up or shut up here on the field. But in terms of keeping Genty, in terms of, I know he's not starting, but getting Malachi Nelson, do what he's done in the off season, and player retention period, in terms of not many players at all, if any, transferring, and just what they've continued to build and what they've done. I can't remember a more exciting time going into a season, and I think Mike Prater even put it like maybe the best off season in the history of college football for Spencer Danielson, just with everything he's done to this point. And again, most of those people that maybe weren't on board certainly are now, but now come 2:00 on Saturday down in Georgia, you got to put up or shut up.
No doubt. Especially, you also keep kids when your AD's got a vision, and not a vision of 1 year. It's got a 5-year vision. And that's not, we're talking about athletic department wide, right? But these young men on the football team are thinking, okay, where's Boise State football going? Because the schools are trying to get them, like, oh, look at our stadium. Look at this. Oh, that's great. But look at what we're doing too. So Jeremiah Dickey's not sitting where he's at. He's like, no, it's Boise State football. We're getting better. Look at the softball team. Mm-hmm. They're great.
They got lights. They got a scoreboard now. Mm-hmm. Soccer got lights for the women's soccer team.
How important is that to have a 5-year vision athletic department wide? And how crushing is it when that 5-year vision gets demolished when you leave, if we were to lose them?
How big is an athletic director to the football program and the football coaches, I guess?
Huge. Because it's your buffer. Not a lot of the athletic directors, they got to answer the president, right? The football coach really has to go to the president for some things or something like that, but budget, it's AD. It's like, so there is no, hey, we have too much money. You can take a $200,000 back. No, we need more money. Like, the recruiting game's changing. I need another $300,000. We don't have it. I bet you I'll try to figure it out for you. Nobody wants to hear no. I just want to hear there's opportunity. I'm not promising it. As long as you can find an opportunity with raising money. Look at what he's done with attendance.
Mm-hmm.
Basketball.
Unbelievable.
They're approaching, I think, under 200 season tickets away from being 20,000 for the first time in almost a decade.
How great is that? And then, like anything else, he's got local businesses helping, not just with the university, with NIL.
Yeah.
Right. And the golfer. It's not just football. It's not just anything. It's kind of we're trying to incorporate Boise State athletics to connect. Like we were talking, it's great you wish a lot more football players would get around and do all that. Now time is tough, but once you get to know these kids, especially Boise coming in, and where are we going as a community, it's starting to be a little bit transplant, right? There's a lot of movements. And now NIL, the commercials, things like that. That means you're touching these people that are moving in here from every other state that are coming in as football fans somewhere else. They're like, God, that's a great kid. Or look at what Lithia is doing with Boise community. I wish we would have done that in California or New York, something like that. So now they can, if you could start turning those people over to Boise State fans, like I said, attendance goes up. And that's what I think Jeremiah's done a phenomenal job at.
Absolutely. I think when you talk about Spencer and JD and the people that have moved here, Michigan fans, SC fans, whatever, well, you can have a second team.
I agree.
Right? Why not? And it's a hell of a product. The game day is awesome.
Yeah, that's what helps keep it winning, right?
Yeah.
It's an atmosphere.
Yeah.
It's like, it's an atmosphere. It's the tailgating. It's everything. And that's get better. And I think as long as fans were upset about the Wi-Fi in the stadium, things like that back in the day. Now, you go, that scoreboard's huge, and the end zone project's going to be unbelievable. It's just the stadium, Albertson Stadium is not the old Albertson Stadium it was in 17 or 18 or 19.
Which is, I mean, you're talking 5 years. You're not talking, go back 10, 15, 20 years of that stadium.
Exactly. It's awesome.
Yeah, it's pretty cool. Jim, I mentioned, we see the Ford logo everywhere down on the scoreboard down at Boise State. We mentioned the NIL stuff, but just in general, maybe it's the relationships and stuff, but just for you guys to be such a big part of this community and such a big part of Boise State in terms of supporting them with the courtesy cars, but also just financially and things like that. Well, why is it important for you guys to continue to keep doing that?
We thought it was important that we have a national name brand, Lithia Motors. We're a national company. We don't have a local name owner. And so back in 2010, we're trying to figure out how do we get to be part of the community. We have regular people that live here, that work here. We're not just a national company. We're not Walmart, right? We're local. And so a gentleman from Bronco Sports Properties knocked on my door, perfect timing. And one of the other OEMs, manufacturers, decided to drop their deal at Boise State. And so we had an opportunity to jump in there and get in there in 2010. And then the Ford Group, the local Ford Group, started a deal with Boise State in 2013. So that's why you see such a large Ford and Lithia Ford presence out there.
Yeah. And I know you guys have a cool event coming up here in a couple of weeks that we're going to help you get involved with, but tell folks what's going on.
So we do a deal with Ford Motor Company. It's called Drive for Your School. And what they do is we will go to a venue, a school, and do test drives. People can jump in a car and do a test drive, short test drive, and the school earns $20 per test drive. We can earn up to $6,000 for the school for whatever it is, the cheer squad, the band, the science department. We've done several of these in the past. We did them at Eagle High School several years ago before COVID hit, and we'd do it every year, and we'd raise our $6,000 so we can just send a check to the school. $6,000 goes a long way for high schools.
Yep.
And so we're going to do a deal on September 13th with Bora High School. Pretty excited about that. The nice thing about it is people can go outside of the dealership environment and get in a Ford car and take it for a spin. And it's a no pressure. It's not a sales deal. It's just drive a car and raise some money for a local high school.
So it'll be September 13th. You said at Bora from 11 to 6?
11 to 6.
Okay.
Yeah.
And we'll maybe get out there and do our show that day there too. It'll be at Bora High School. So you guys will have the cars there.
Yes, we'll have 30 cars there to drive.
Awesome. Tyree says I bought 5 new shirts at the Blue and Orange store to help support BNN. Appreciate that, Tyree. Now, why don't you come in and buy a F-150 or one of these Broncos too, and help support Lithia here as well. But Jim, your final thoughts on the team, the season, how you feeling about Saturday, and just overall the football program?
Super excited about this year. You guys talk about the Sports Illustrated deals I have hanging up, and I look up and I see Alabama #1, Ohio State #2, Boise State ranked #3 preseason, and 3 of those guys on the cover played in the NFL.
Yep,
all 3 of those guys. And so it would be cool to bring that back, right? I don't see any reason why we can't. And so we're loaded. Real quick, I went to a practice the other day, and I can't remember I think it was Kirk Herbstreit said, you can tell a team by the way they appear when they walk off the bus.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, our guys are going to look pretty good walking off the bus. We got some dudes.
Yeah, you got some size.
Yeah,
they do.
Yeah, they look. We look good.
You know which road game you're going to yet, or multiple ones, or what?
I'm gonna go to Oregon, and I'm gonna go.
Shocker that he.
It was hard to choose.
Are you going to UNLV?
I'm going to UNLV.
Hey, there we go.
No. I'm not a Vegas guy. I do not like Vegas.
Neither am I.
I have
not anymore.
I have some friends that are meeting me in Vegas that are Vegas guys, and they're friends of mine from high school, and so they wanted me to go meet them there.
Nice.
Jim, you ever been to Circa?
I've not.
It'll change you. Go to Circa.
There you go. Support the sponsors. Yes.
It was awesome.
No, our hotel sponsor, Circa. They have a huge outdoor pool with all the screens on.
Yeah,
yep.
The 60-yarder.
Yep.
And I'd never been either, and I've always wanted to go. And I'm like, oh, we're going to Circa. It's downtown. It's on is it Fremont?
Fremont Street. Yeah, it's not on the Strip. Yeah.
And all of a sudden, I walk in. The owner, he's a billionaire with a B, he's having a nice Jack and Coke, and he goes to the bars and he just talks to people at his hotel.
Nice.
And I was like, okay, I can support this guy. It's a lot like, how you're in the dealership, you're talking to people.
Oh yeah.
You're here, and it's all like him. Go there one time, and it's 21 and over, so you don't have a bunch of kids, and it's not, it's
clean.
It's when you walk into a casino, it's like you got just clobbered by hot ones. There people are smoking. It wasn't that atmosphere. I was like, okay, I'm down with this. You need to swing by there. It was cool.
Yeah, we'll get him hooked up.
Yeah,
looking forward to that. Brad, final, this person's asked this 3 times, so I want to make sure we get it in real quick, about Tyler Crow potentially scoring a touchdown this weekend, since Dirk Cutter likes to use the fullback. What do you make of Dirk Cutter using the fullback and local product Tyler Crow this weekend, his role?
I mean, I would say it's going to have to be a fullback dive, but I have no idea. Does
he like to use the fullback, though?
Did I? Yeah.
No. Kurt Cutter. The fullback
I think he will.
Yeah.
I think he will. I'm not. I mean, if you look at it back last year, I think it's more in goal line situations because you're gonna have to load the box.
Yeah.
Like we all did. Hawk's done. Pete's done. Horse is done. I know Dirk Cutter was very successful with that with the Atlanta Falcons.
Yeah.
So we'll see what happens. I mean, I think there's a good opportunity, but he's got to make a decision who do you hand the ball off to.
Yeah.
One of the stud running backs or.
Yeah, nothing against Tyler Crow, but
Tyler Crow's a great kid, but a fullback is an extension of your offensive line. That's what a fullback is.
Yeah,
especially in a goal line situation.
I am very curious to see the distribution of, I was going to say carries, but I guess production in general in this game, because obviously Genty, you want to get the lion's share, but they really like what Sire Gaines, a true freshman, has done, and Breezy Dubar, and then you have all these receivers you're talking about. I mean, how the carries are distributed, I'm very curious.
I'm glad you brought that up. For everybody that's watching this, he's going to watch this game, Boise State fans, just please be alert that they're going to come up and they're going to put as many people on that box as humanly possible. Okay, so does that mean they're playing cover one man? If they are,
they're going to make Maddox Madsen beat them?
No, but you got a lot of play action. You got some things there that can create explosive plays. And all of a sudden now you're getting chunk plays in the passing game. What do they have to do? You got to go to more coverage.
Back off.
Now guess what's going to happen? You look up, oh my God, they only gave Genty, he only has, how did he get 220 yards? It's going to,
on 12 carries or something.
It could be something like that. But the other thing is, you talk about walking off the bus, is the one thing Matt Miller has done is change the wide receivers room. Now they're all 6'2".
Yes.
They're big. They're
You
long.
stand next to Prince Strawn. He looks like he's an NFL receiver right now.
Caples is
Yeah.
back.
Austin Bolt.
Austin.
Who, by the way, some people were saying we need to get the deal here. Austin Bolt had his car stolen. We need to we need to talk to Austin, get Austin Bolt an NIL deal here or something. If we can put the pressure on, we got to figure that out. But yeah, someone stole Austin Bolt's car from his girlfriend's house, and now I guess the insurance is paying it out, so he's looking to get a new vehicle. But who would ever think that would happen in Boise, Idaho? But Austin Bolt's another guy I'm excited to see this year too.
I would agree.
Yeah.
And the other thing is, first game is good luck tackling Genty. Put him one-on-one in space for the safety. Tackling's a big thing. Game 1. If you guys watched week 0, ask Florida State about tackling the run game. It was atrocious. So that in the last person you want week 1 to go against is one of the top 3 tailbacks in the country. Good luck to you.
What are your final thoughts, Brad, on the game, the season? We mentioned the hype and just getting here, but just overall, as we sum up the show here, your thoughts on this team as we get ready for the team to head out of town tomorrow and get this thing rolling.
Excited about them. Man, I love the culture they've built. And I think that the vibe is great. Now, the vibe is always good. Everybody thinks they're going to go undefeated right now, right? Well, there's a lot of teams that are going to end that. So I think the team's in a good spot. I think you go into Georgia Southern, and I think it's a good road win. And then you worry about the next week. Okay, and the next week is a big worry, to be quite honest with you. Other than that, I think they have a phenomenal season. I think the excitement that's generated right now is well deserved. But like we said, now you got to fight that, because every week it gets tougher and tougher and tougher. Like that team in Boise State when they had to walk in Nevada, right? And this is a long time ago. And second half, whoever the quarterback was torched them. They lost by field goal, right? Well, the pressure mounts as the season goes, especially if you're sitting undefeated or have a one-loss team. You know, it's just and everybody else. I think a one-loss team at a G5 gets in. I do, because the only team that, in my opinion, you have to worry about going undefeated is Liberty, because they don't play anybody.
Yeah, their schedule is embarrassing.
They did not play anybody last year, but they went undefeated and they put them in. I think they learned a lesson coming out of that bowl game, right? Where App State's got to play Clemson. Okay. I think Memphis has to play Florida State, which is not great now because they were terrible, but Florida State will get better. But, I think everybody with the season, the hype's generated. It's real. I think it's well deserved, but I think this team's working like they don't have a hype. Like the blue collar, this team works that way. It works that way. And so, we'll have to see what happens. I think they're 1-0, and then they go into the Oregon game, and we'll worry about that when we got to worry about that one.
Well, the Lithia Ford of Boise pregame show, 12:30 on Saturday. I'll be live on the field there in Statesboro, so make sure you check out the Lithia Ford of Boise pregame show, 12:30 Mountain Time. We'll be live on the field. We'll show you warm-ups. We'll show you the guys coming out. We got some interviews that we're saving for that as well. So looking forward to Saturday. And again, 12:30 Mountain Time, Lithia Ford of Boise pregame show. Jim, Brad, thank you to you for coming out. Jim,
Absolutely.
Thank you for having us. Thank you for your sponsorship of BNN. We really appreciate it, and this has been fun.
Yes. Excellent.
Appreciate
Love
it.
it.
There he is, Jim Sturck. Again, get down here to Lithia. What's the address again? I could have butchered it the first time.
8853.
8853 West Fairview. They got what's the big what are you pushing right now? The Broncos, the Mach-E Mustangs.
It's always going to be F-150. But yes, we have plenty of Broncos. We got Bronco Sports, Maverick, a new little pickup has caught fire. It's an amazing little vehicle.
In the electric, do you have any of the electric F-150s here?
We do. We have Lightnings.
The Lightnings,
we have Mach-E's, getting in that electric world.
You don't have a choice.
I know we don't.
That's a discussion for another day. Jim, we appreciate it. Brad, thanks. Get down here to Lithia Ford for your next car or truck purchase. You will not be disappointed, and you're supporting, one of the best in terms of returning the favor for someone who's supporting the local community. So appreciate it. Thanks, everybody, for having us. Thanks to Jamie for helping us as well. And again, have a great rest of your day. We're going to head down to Boise State, do some interviews. We'll get those posted. I'm talking to Stacy Collins today. We'll get that posted online as well. And then, but tomorrow, no show. Be on the road to Statesboro. And then Jay Tust and I on Friday morning at 9 a.m. Mountain Time. We'll get you set. And then, as I said, Saturday, 12:30, the Lithia Ford of Boise pregame show live from the field in Statesboro on the YouTube and social media channels of Bronco Nation News. So appreciate it, guys. Have a good rest of your day. We'll see you here soon at Lithia. Next car or truck purchase, make sure you come on down. Check out Jim and company. They'll take care of you. This has been Bronco Nation News Live, BroncoNationNews.com.